Hello, everybody. I had two topics today fighting in my head about which one to share with you. And so, of course, because things always just work out the way they're supposed to, I had an experience where I can share that I can use to illustrate both ideas. Welcome to Parenting Successful Teens. I'm Allie Irwin, and I'm here to remind you that you are already a great mom. I know that parenting teens is hard, but it doesn't have to be this hard. Listen in, and I'll teach you how to feel confident that you can handle whatever parenthood throws at you, and even make it fun. Yes, fun. I love this phase of life, and you can too. So it's President's Day weekend, and my husband and I both have the day off work, and so we decided that it would be fun to take a ski lesson together. So, we get to the hill, and I check in while he parks the car, and then we're almost immediately separated into different classes because we're very evenly matched skill-wise, but on the hill, he's way braver. And I primarily wanted to stay on the intermediate hills, and he was more interested in doing the black hills. So black is like the more advanced hills, in case you're not a skier. And my lesson overall was going very well through lunch. Like all morning long, we were doing really basic skills, but that's good for me because I love sort of the technical aspects of skiing. Like I want to, I'm just getting back into it, having not skied for like 20 years. And so I'm really enjoying learning, where to put your weight and all of the different pieces. So then we break for lunch and we come back from lunch, and now we're on the bunny hill, which is the most basic, almost flat hill there is that they use like with very, very beginning skiers. And it's actually hard for me to even get enough speed on this hill to make the turns that the instructor wants us to make. So you imagine we're having this day where we're really taking our time and focusing on getting the skills, and I'm enjoying it. And then we break for lunch where you just sit for an hour. All the things fall out of your head. And then we come back after lunch and we're on an even easier hill than we had been on all morning. Okay. So finally, we're done with the drills on the bunny hill and we're going back up the mountain to go on the intermediate hills. And I'm all excited because now he's going to teach us how to ski moguls. That's what we're practicing on the bunny hill. And now we're going to go up to the intermediate hills and put it into practice with a steeper slope. Okay. So we get to the top of the hill and we're skiing down and, trying out those things that we learned. And I feel like I'm kind of getting it. And then all of a sudden, one of the people in our group veers off. They make a wrong turn and they go down one of the more advanced black diamond runs. And, there's a big class of us where 6 of us went one way, and this guy just peels off and goes in the other direction. And he stops and texts his wife, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll meet you at the bottom of the hill. I just, made a wrong turn." And the instructor hears all this, and then in that moment, he decides that we're all going to go down the black hill after this guy. And the whole reason I'm not skiing with my husband this whole day is because I don't want to ski the black hills. I like the intermediate hills. But it's a group class, and so I'm just going to go along, and, the instructor has been watching us ski all day, and if he thinks we can do it, I'm going to be a good sport and just do it. So we ski down a little ways, and then the instructor decides that not only are we going to be on these steeper slopes, but we're going to ski into the trees where all the powder is. So powder is a different kind of skiing than groomed slopes, which we haven't practiced. And then trees are things that you can hit when you're on skis, flying down the hill at high speeds. Like, they are obstacles that are not flexible about when you turn. And so, of course, I'm freaking out. So at this point in the story, I want you to put yourself in this situation, not my situation, but think of like your own situation where you set everything up to have one kind of experience and to be successful in what you're doing. And then like something happened and all of a sudden you're in a situation not of your own making, not of your own choosing, and you have to figure out what to do. Okay? You did everything in your power not to be in this situation, but now you're in it and you have to figure out what to do. So in that moment, I want you to say what I said to myself, which is, hey, it's okay, you're freaking out. That's totally normal. You didn't mean to be in this situation. And to just speak to yourself calmly and do all the things that we've talked about on these podcasts about how to calm yourself down and regulate your nervous system so that you can take the next best action. Okay, so that's what I did. I decided, once I got myself, took a couple of deep breaths and got myself in a calmer state of mind. I'm like, you know what? It's going to be fine. I will just go last and then I can take all the time I need to, pick down this mountain carefully. But then he says, there's still him and another person, and they're kind of stacked apart below me. And he says, okay, Allie, you're next. And I look, and not only do I have all these trees I have to avoid, but now I have to ski through these two humans. They're like stacked like slalom poles, in an Olympic event. So I'm on this run that I didn't want to take in the first place. And I've already calmed myself down. And now there's another obstacle in the way, which are these humans I don't want to hit. And so I advocate for myself in this situation. And this is something I've gotten really good at doing and comfortable doing. And I teach all my clients to do it, to recognize what do you need in that moment and then make every effort to give it to yourself. So I tell the instructor, no, I would like to go last. I'd like to be able to take my time. But the instructor won't budge. Like, for whatever reason, he wanted the other person to go last. And so again, I take a couple of deep breaths and I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I'll just go ahead. And I ski between the two of them and then immediately freaked out again and skied off the powdered area and back out through the trees on to the groomed area. Okay? So you have to imagine, like, I'm in a totally activated state, meaning, my heart rate is going fast, I'm breathing hard, I have that like hyper-focused brain. And I get to the bottom and he asks me, how do you rate your success in the task I set out for you? Which was strange. He had a military background. And I definitely felt, like a scolded student. And he's saying, not like, good job taking care of your needs. He said, how successful were you in meeting the task I set out for you? And like, if all the hackles on the back of your neck are up, mine too. Because I think this happens to us so often as women, right? We know what we need. We advocate for what we need. And then we get mansplained over. And by that, I just mean, like, every time I tried to raise an objection, he told me I was fine and I could do it, and I didn't do it. And so now I'm low-key crying in my goggles, like sniffling, which is very uncomfortable to do outdoors, and beating myself up for not being clear when we were on that hill, for not saying like, hey, I'm completely freaked out and I do not want to go down until everyone has left the hill and there's nothing for me to hit. Well, besides all the trees. Again, how many times have you been in a situation where you did your best to advocate for yourself and things still went sideways? You felt like you still couldn't get what you needed. And then afterwards, you kind of beat yourself up that you didn't do a better job advocating for yourself. And what I want to offer you today is what I needed in that moment was to just continue to have my own back, to just continue to say kind things to myself. And when he was telling me that I failed at the task he set forth, to just let his opinion just drift over me like a bit of wind, to not take that in, to just continue to have my own back. And even in the moment where I failed to have my own back and said that I should have done a better job advocating for myself, to even let myself off the hook for that. So that is lesson 1 that I would love for you to take away today, is the solution in that situation was not really even about my response to him. Like, when I texted my friends about what happened, they were like, you should have told him, blah, And I love that my friends told me that, but my response to him really matters less to me than my response to myself, which is just compassion for the person who is afraid and in a situation and honestly did her best to give herself what she needed. Okay. And I would love that for you. I would love that if you, when you're in tough situations, to just witness your own discomfort and continue to give yourself compassion. Okay. Be a compassionate witness to your own experience. The second lesson that I would love to offer you is that instructor had so much faith in my ability to ski down that hill, and he'd been watching me ski all day. So the other thing that I could have done, and I maybe could have accessed if I'd taken even another minute or two to really get calm, is I could have borrowed his confidence in my abilities. And 2 things. 1, I think it's so common as women that we underestimate our own abilities. Because we're even socially conditioned to do that, right? There's those stats that a woman will only apply for a job if she meets 90% of the qualifications, and men will apply for the job if they meet something like 50%. Okay? We're socialized to underestimate our own abilities, to be humble and modest and all of that. And so what is a good idea is when someone has more faith in you than you have in yourself, you can borrow their faith in you. It can be as simple as when someone tells you you did an amazing job on something, take the compliment and just say thank you. Borrow their belief that what you did was amazing. And I think this is something that we really do a lot as parents. And it is of great benefit to our kids that we can hold the vision for them that they can do whatever challenge it is that they're setting out to do, whether it's living on their own for the first time or taking advanced classes or trying a new sport or trying out for school play. All of those things, we can hold the vision for them that what they're doing. Maybe, my daughter is in her first full-time job and just holding the vision that she can manage all of these new adulting responsibilities. I'm definitely holding that vision for her as she picks her way through picking 401ks and getting her own car insurance and setting up her own, internet and figuring out all of that stuff. I'm holding the vision for her that she can figure it out and that it's just fine and that it's just fine to make mistakes and learn. And, she's borrowing my confidence in her. And I think that this is something that we can consciously do for ourselves as well. Okay? Be willing to believe that you have more capabilities than you might currently think you have. And then use that other people's faith in you. And honestly, that is one of the big benefits to having a coach that you trust and that really sees you for who you are and what you can do. A coach that doesn't believe your limiting stories and, is not all caught up in that nonsense that you've been telling yourself about why you can't do the thing that it is that you want to do. Okay? One of the big benefits of having a coach on your side is they can see you and they can see you as already achieving the thing that you want to do and helping you see your own capabilities and grow those capabilities. A coach can help you hold the vision of what's possible for you while you're growing into that vision yourself, until your faith in yourself feels solid. Okay, and it's a little bit different than caring what other people think about you. Like if you think back to that ski situation, I wasn't upset because he thought I did a bad job. I was upset because I felt like he put me in a dangerous situation. Like he didn't listen to me when I advocated for my own needs. Wasn't caring what he thought. I was just literally mad at him and frustrated about the situation. And so when he thought I could do it and told me that I could do it, I could have chosen, I think that's the important distinction, is I had the agency to take in the parts of his feedback, his belief in me, that piece of his feedback. I could take that in and use it to my benefit while discarding the pieces of it that didn't feel good to me. Like I could use what's good and disregard the rest. That's what I'm saying the important distinction is knowing that you have the agency to keep your own opinion of yourself first and foremost, and at the same time choose to borrow someone else's belief. I could have borrowed his faith until my faith in my own skiing abilities had gotten stronger. And the way to get it stronger could have been to be on some hills that made me really nervous. Okay, so I hope this is useful. Both of the ideas of being compassionate, always being a compassionate witness to your own experience. And two, when your faith in yourself is shaky, to go ahead and borrow someone else's faith in you. And look, if you ever need to borrow someone's faith in you, know that I have faith in you. Have a great week, everyone. Hey, if you enjoyed today's show and you want even more support and a shot of fresh inspiration in your email box each week, you have to get on my list. Sign up to receive my free guide on how to stop second-guessing yourself as a mom. There are so many decisions to make as a mom, and this guide will help you to make decisions and just move on. No more waking up 3 a.m. wondering if you made the wrong decision. This guide is so good. Even my non-mom clients are raving about it. So sign up today, and I will see you next week.